Today I'd like to take a walk on memory lane. Do you remember an Italian black metal band called Evol? They released 3 studio albums in the 90s before they disappeared around the year 2000. I did a long interview for Unbroken Metal magazine with bandleader Giordano Folin in 2002 after the band split up, so I dare say I have some reliable first-hand information for a look back on the band history. Evol were formed in 1993 in northern Italy. The lineup consisted of Giordano Folin, or Prince of Agony, on vocals and keyboards, Suspiria on female vocals, while Samael von Martin played guitars. Initially he took also care of bass and drums. In later years Evol would hire guest players for the rhythm section, but they were not listed as equal band members. The core of just 3 mainstayers remained the same till the end. The first release was a demo tape with 4 songs. Technically somewhat awkward, it managed to display already that Evol had a vision where they wanted to go, and it set them apart from other black metal bands at the time. Talking about black metal in the first half of the 90s usually meant bands like Dark Throne and Marduk, who followed Venom and Bathory. Evol were in a different tradition of occult metal that began in the 70s with Coven or Black Widow. In Italy, occult metal always had a touch of the bizarre and theatrical, shown in bands like Death SS, Mortuary Drape or Opera 9.
Black magic, alchemy, worship of the devil.
Evol's demo featured ritualistic chants rather than speed attacks. The reviews were cautious.
Got my side, where am I? Oh boy, I've been, leave your body, be my presence, toss my hatred for your kind.
The second demo tape included songs which would appear on the second album, and the extravaganza of Witch Lord, a 9-minute epic of satanic incantations. Sounding clearly better than the first demo, this was a step forward for the band. Sad Doom of a Dark Soul, for example, was a strong emotional tune.
More pain I need to go beyond the wall of flesh. The gate to a greater knowledge is not open yet.
In the 90s there was a battle stirred up by the Norwegian bands about who was true black metal and who wasn't really true. Pushing things to the extreme, that probably meant you'd have to burn down 1 or 2 churches along the way. Evol on their first album spoke out loudly against dividing some black metal bands from others and tried their best to unite the scene. Dream Quest to me is the best Evol album. They added more fast metal tunes like before, for example Flying with the Night Gaunt's, added playful instrumentals like Darkmere, which sounded more like a real band now, and a 10-minute epic like The Black Crystal of Astar sums up everything that Evol stand for. Song titles like Ultar and Dark Stairs of Rillier refer to Lovecraft's books, obviously, and from such inspirational sources, Evol managed to create an atmosphere of dark, tempting mystery on that record that is hardly rivaled by other bands.
Books are the real treasures of the world.
The reactions of the press to Dream Quest were, however, mixed. This mini-album consists of the reworked version of the demo classic Witchlord, an alternate mix of the title track, Das gemiedene Schloss, a version of Il Castello Evitato with German lyrics, the instrumental Phenomena covered from the Dario Argento movie, and the demo version of Prologue, which was otherwise not available anymore in 1998. It's a highly interesting CD that shouldn't miss in any Evol record collection. The final versions of the tracks Il Castello Evitato and Ancient Abbey would appear on the next studio album. The ouverture makes you already aware that these are the best keyboard sounds Evol ever had. Quality has gone up another notch. With songs like March for Evol and Tower of the Necromancer, it could also be called the heaviest Evol album.
Now shall you deal with me, O Prince, and all the powers of hell!
Portraits was poorly distributed at the time, not to be found in any record shop. It took me a year after it was released to finally get a copy from an independent mail-order company. It was Evol's last release on the Adiposaire label, who apparently stopped supporting them. There is a journalist cliché about the third album saying that it will decide whether you make it big or not. It's probably not true very often. But in Evol's case, the low sales must have contributed to the end of the band around the year 2000. In 2001, Evol re-released their 2 demo tapes with 2 live bonus tracks on an album entitled Dies Irae. Evol intended to close their career with a double live album De Bello Gallico, recorded at 2 shows in Lyon and Marseille. It was announced for 2002 but never released. After Evol split up, Suspiria left the music scene. Giordano pursued Demonarchia, a solo project which seemingly never got to release anything, while the other 3 continued in the band Death Dies. Death Dies is straight black metal, thrashing with a lot of energy, but it doesn't have any of the mystic atmosphere which made Evol so special. I asked Giordano in which direction Evol would have developed if they had continued. He replied, "We never planned, we just played what we felt, therefore it's difficult to say how it could have continued." I guess we'll never know more, but please keep up the memory of Evol.